Hi everybody, thank you so much for joining my channel. My name is Dante Renee and let's hop in today's video. Today's the 5 boundaries that I feel like Black women need to reclaim. If you've ever felt like saying yes, but you really wanted to say no, you just didn't know how, then this video is for you. As a Black woman, learning to prioritize myself and learning to say no has been a complete game changer for me. And I am only 37. I am just now learning this. Let's learn them, claim them, and start reclaiming them one boundary at a time. Because I know it's not easy. But we're going to do it together. Without further ado, let's jump into boundary number 1. Saying no without explanation. I think that is a very hard thing for Black women to do. And I'm not sure why that is. I don't know if it's ingrained in us from an early age or if it's passed down from our grandmother's grandmother. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is just extremely odd and extremely awkward to say no, especially in a professional setting, especially for me anyway, or specifically for me. I found it very hard to say no in a professional setting, but my counterparts had no problem with saying no. They had no problem saying no with additional workloads. They had no problem saying, oh no, I need to speak to the manager about this. They had no problem saying no. All the while, I'm sitting there overworked, underpaid, overwhelmed, when I could have simply just said no. By saying no, I always felt like I wasn't looking at the best interest of the company or my peers, when all actuality, that ain't had nothing to do with me. That was not my problem. That was not my business. That's somebody else's business. And that was somebody else's problem. If we're short-staffed, Dante, can you stay? Even though I wanted to say no, I always said yes. Even though I had plans, I always said yes. And that became very draining and overwhelming. Like, nobody wants to cancel their plans to work. I don't know a single soul who would want to do something like that. I think that saying no is a complete sentence, although most of the time we don't realize it. And I'm practicing saying no without explanation. Just no. No follow-up behind it. And I used to think saying no was so harsh and so rude, when in actuality it's not. It's just no. Boundary number 2. Being an emotional labor line for everyone else. Now, recently, I have lost both my parents last year. My mother I lost her the day before Easter 2024, and I lost my dad the day after Christmas 2024. And I'm used to being the strong friend, the one that everybody can call, the one everybody can lean on, the one everybody can borrow from. But during that time, and still to this day, I do not have the capacity to be nobody's emotional crutch, and I'm okay with that. And I think my friends truly understand that I can't take on anything you got going on right now. I can give you some quick advice, but if it's something deep that we need to sit down and dissect, I'm not in the mood. And that's not to downplay somebody else's journey through life and not be there as they have been there for me. And it's just, I'm in a space right now where I can't do it. I'm focusing on me daily. And if I don't put that first, it's a wash. It's a complete wash. Some days it's hard for me to get out of the bed. Some days I don't want to talk. Some days I don't want to see people. Most days, actually. So within this past year, I've learned I can't carry anybody else's weight. Not right now. Not in this season of my life. It's too painful. It is too painful. I am still carrying a lot. And this is Father's Day weekend. And it's the first Father's Day without my dad. So I'm really just trying to adjust and kind of flow through this weekend with grace, and know that although he is not here in the physical, he is definitely here in the spiritual, and he would want me to continue to do the things that I would normally do. So that's what I'm gonna do. I do have some voicemails, and I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna listen to them this weekend, and hopefully it puts me in a happy place. But if you know Don Juan, you know it's probably some crazy stuff on my voicemail. That's all I'm gonna say. I also had to learn that Being emotionally selfish for myself has to be a thing. Has to be a thing. Right now in my life, it has to be a thing. That's not something that I can let go so easily. My main goal is to protect my emotional capacity. And that's just what it is. Your real friends, your real family will understand. Let's hop right into boundary number 3. Worth does not equal work. Let me say that again for the ones in the back. Worth does not equal work. A lot of times that's how we measure our worth. It's through our work. If we're not constantly working, if we're not constantly meeting deadlines, if we're not constantly pushing ourselves to the limit, pushing ourselves to exhaustion, then that means we're not worthy. I read somewhere that black women hold the most amount of degrees. And that is very true, because let us break up. Let us be in a breakup. Let us get a divorce. Let us be going through it with our family. We're going to go to school. We're going to get some type of additional training, some type of additional certificates, and we're going to line those degrees up. It's just a thing. Like, don't ask me. I don't make the rules. That's just the way it is. And I don't know why that is. Is it almost like a let me show you what I could do type of thing? Or is it out of boredom? I'm bored, so let me go get a degree. What y'all think? Let me know below in the comments. Do y'all think black women get degrees out of boredom? Or do y'all think they get degrees out of let me show you? I can show you better than I can tell you. Let me know. And this boundary in number 3 is a boundary that I will no longer do. And I'm currently kind of seeing my brother go through that because he is a nurse. And he works a ton of hours. He works constantly. He works at night. He works on the weekend. He works during the day. He stays late. Like, he comes in early. And I'm just like, is it that serious? Now, I know nursing is a job that you absolutely have to love, but at what point and at what cost? Because he some days he's totally exhausted, and I feel for him. Exhausted physically, mentally, emotionally, and I don't think a lot of people take that kind of thing into account. You know, stress can be very hard on the body, and it can accumulate, and next thing you know, you got a whole other list of problems from a stressful job where you can simply say no. You don't have to become burnt out to be enough. Boundary number 4. Family does not equal unlimited access. And let me tell you, I'm going to have to clip my mic on for this, because I'm going to have to talk with my hands for this one. Sometimes your family can be your biggest haters. Like out in the street type of haters, like people you never met before in your life type of haters. They will be your downfall. Family that always call you for money, people that always call you for things that you can't call them for. Like, what do they expect, really? They look at you and they look at the lifestyle that you have and they say, oh, she got it, or oh, he got it, but let me call them and let me borrow some money. And I know for sure that you're not going to pay it back, but I do it anyways because you're my cousin. You know what I'm saying? You're a close family friend. You my whoever. You know what I'm saying? And that alone can get very, very frustrating. And at some point, you're going to start feeling resent for that family member. Because when somebody is only taking, and never refilling your cup or replenishing what they've taken, what are you actually left with? Some people feel like you owe them something, and it doesn't always have to be of monetary value. It could be you owe them time, you owe them respect, you owe them whatever it is that they feel like you owe them. Let me tell you, I have had to cut some of my closest family members off, and it was one of the hardest things that I've ever had to do. But let me tell you, it was the best thing that I could do for me and for my mental health and for my emotions. It was the absolute best thing I could do.
And I could do it again. I'll do it again.
Recently, this person has come back into my life after probably about 2 years of no contact. And I'm really moving slowly. Like, I'm really moving at a snail's pace because the trust and the bond has been broken. The seal has been broken. To me, there are certain things you cannot come back from. and those lines were crossed. However, in therapy, I learned that it is important to kind of extend people grace when it's necessary. And I'm still working on that. But at this point, I'm still choosing my safety in the form of my mental safety, my emotional safety, over obligation. And that's just what it is right now. I can be cordial, I can say hi, I can say bye. But that's all I got. That's all I got. The fifth boundary that I have set for myself is to always show up as my authentic self, and what that looks like for me, and not shrink myself down because of people that I'm around or afraid of what other people might think, new people might think. Because if you know, then you know. I'm not toning things down anymore. I'm definitely living in my truth, and I want that to show on the outside. I've done the work on the inside, so now it's time to show it on the outside. I've been feeling good. I've been dressing well. I've been doing my hair. I've been practicing my makeup. I got to get back in the gym. I got to start making healthier decisions when I eat. And that's all a work in progress. But I refuse to not show up as my authentic self in that moment. There were times when I used to shrink myself because I was in the presence of somebody who had more than me, or had more education than me, or just had more personality than me, which is hard to do because your girl got a lot of personality. But I don't know, like, it was just really awkward, because sometimes you be in that stage of you're unsure of yourself, and that kind of reflects on the outside. And I think that's what was happening a lot. But now that I'm confident in who I am and what I am and whose I am, hey, it is what it is. I am in the season of owning everything about me. Everything about my loudness, everything about my softness, everything about my blackness. Let me know down in the comments which of these boundaries hit home most for you, and what boundaries are you setting for 2025. I would like to know, what are y'all standing firm on? What are y'all saying no to? And this is just a reminder that no is a complete sentence, and you do not have to have a follow-up. I hope this video was helpful to you. It was definitely helpful to me. During this video, I have realized some things. And that's another thing about creating social media, or a thing about creating social media, is that through video and helping others, you also is helping yourself by talking through things. A lot of time when you talk through things, it gives you a different perspective. Even though you're thinking in your mind, when you're talking out loud, it kind of gives you a different perspective. So that's one of the many joys of creating social media that I have learned and I have fell in love with. If this video has helped you in any way, please like, comment, and subscribe. I appreciate you so much, and thank you for being here.